Hey, Ellen, hey.
How
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me.
It's so
I'm doing
nice.
okay.
It's your first time on the show, but I'm a big fan as well of yours. We tape in Los Angeles. The numbers here are it's 1 in 5 people are testing positive for COVID. What is it happening? Why is that happening here?
Well, you know, it's one of these things where you have exponential growth happening. There's so much virus that is now spreading in the area that there's 10 people being diagnosed as positive almost every minute. And there's obviously lots of people who are still congregating, sometimes because of essential work and things like that. But it's a really challenging thing right now to try and break that trajectory of growth, just how it's like a fast moving cruise ship going through the ocean. Even if you slam on the brakes, it's still going to move for a while. That's what's been happening in Los Angeles.
And so now there's this new strain, and a couple of questions here. First of all, does that mean there'll be another strain because it keeps mutating? So we're going to have all these different things. And then also, can someone who's just had COVID, like myself, can then you get the new strain?
Yeah. So, you know, with regard to the first question, it is likely that these viruses mutate. That is part of just being the virus. And these coronaviruses mutate a lot, actually. So this was not unexpected. What is interesting, and when you think about these mutations, and I'm not assigning a personality or a will to a virus, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to mutate into a form where they can spread easily. They can have lots of homes, lots of hosts. That's us. But they don't want to kill their hosts. So oftentimes it becomes less lethal while it becomes more contagious. That's often what's happening. That's maybe what this UK variant is. We'll see with the South African variant. Your antibodies from your recent illness should protect you against this UK variant. I was looking into that actually, and the antibodies seem to be protective. Now, it may mutate again, and we'll see, and that's why the vaccine is going to be important. But right now, you should be safe.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And then my blood type is O, and I heard that if you have O blood type, you have less severe symptoms. Is that true?
They've seen this in a few studies, and it's really interesting. I mean, we don't know why that's the case, and it may be one of those things where they take a bunch of people and they look at the data and they find interesting trends, but the trends may not actually mean anything. As more and more people get it, maybe those trends actually aren't real. But you're right. People who have O-type blood seem to have less symptoms. They seem to be less likely to get hospitalized. We don't know if it's something about the blood itself or if there's something else, but I'm glad you had it in this case.
Yeah, well, me too. So a lot of people are having trouble getting the vaccine. They're saying it could take years to get everyone vaccinated. Is that true? And how bad is it? I mean, that doesn't seem like what we all were expecting.
No, I mean, the rollout of the vaccine, I think, has been surprisingly disappointing. And I say surprisingly because Operation Warp Speed, which was this huge government project to create the vaccine, it's really remarkable what has happened, Ellen. I mean, we have 2 authorized vaccines within a year. Things like HIV/AIDS, 40 years, we don't have a vaccine. It wasn't inevitable that we were going to have a vaccine, and we have 2 authorized. But then it was like the ball was dropped after that. You know, the vaccines are great, but vaccinations are what matter, and they just haven't been rolling out fast enough. I think it's going to improve. I think it's going to improve a lot, actually. There'll be stadiums, there'll be pharmacies getting involved. You may be able to make an appointment at your doctor's office, but this should have already happened. I mean, this is a public health emergency, and sometimes you get the sense that we're not treating it that way because this would have been so important to get right.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're getting your second dose. You had it already, or you're getting it any minute?
I got it.
You got
it this past week.
And how do you feel? Because they say the second dose, supposedly you get symptoms.
Yeah, so I did get symptoms. And, you know, it's interesting because I don't really get symptoms. So I got it around 7:30 in the morning on Friday. I think it was around 6:30 that evening, about 11 hours later, that I started to, you know, I had a little bit of muscle pain, but then my joints were hurting a little bit. It wasn't bad, but I just felt like I didn't really want to do anything. Just want to get into bed, which I did. And throughout the night, I had a little bit of back pain too, kind of like what you were describing. But by morning, it was pretty much resolved. And, you know, it's important to point out that was totally expected. About 15% of people do get significant symptoms. And it's not because you got infected. Like in your case, the symptoms you had were because of the virus. In my case, it was just because of the immune system revving up in response to the vaccine. So I wasn't infected. I got better. I think by the following night, I was mostly back to normal.